university, I was 18 and my dad passed away, so just typical things that would happen there. You're pretty angry, getting into street fights, all sorts of stupidness, not winning a lot of the street fights, so I got like really knocked out pretty badly one time. And then it made me realize like I need to put this energy into something because this anger isn't kind of like leaving me. I ended up just looking up gyms in the area, and I knew that Muay Thai was like the best striking art. Looked up a Muay Thai gym and ended up finding one. Luckily, a guy that's still a good friend of mine, Jay Bathija, and he came from kind of a long lineage that started in Toronto, from one of the first Thai gentleman to come over and teach Muay Thai, Ajan Suchart. And then when I went to the gym, he probably doesn't even know this, right? But he was just like, if I hear you guys fight in the streets, like you're out of here. And I was just like, after my first day, I loved it so much that I was like, well, that part of my life is over, you know what I mean? So that kind of ended being an idiot in bars or in the streets or whatever. First off, when you're walking into the ring, it's the most terrifying thing you've ever done. Your mind's telling you like, I don't want to do this. I can just make something up and dip out. And then you have the courage to make the walk anyways. And then by the time you're in there, you're like, that was the funnest thing I've ever done. I want to do it again, right? And at every step during the process of making the business, I found that fear is there, right? Like, and it's because it's uncomfortable. It's something you haven't done before. So every time you take a leap, it's gonna feel uncomfortable, but then you get in there and it's comfortable for you. I'd say there's two big moments. Like I mentioned, my dad passed away, so that I definitely wanted to get like a lot of mental toughness out of that. And that's what brought me into martial arts and brought me on that path. And for a long time, that martial arts is the only thing I wanted to do, right? Later then, I got a concussion, and then 4 months later, I got in a really bad car accident, and then I couldn't do martial arts at all anymore, right? Like, I had a lot of neck injuries that we couldn't figure out for 5 or 6 years. And then that was kind of life-changing, because as an athlete, you go from working out 6 days a week to literally not being able to get up out of a bed without having like really bad headaches, dizziness, that whole thing, and doctors kind of not being able to figure out what's wrong with you. I had 2 herniated discs and really bad disc degeneration. So that was kind of what we treated first with like PRP injections, but it didn't end up fixing much. And then we found out that I have something called craniocervical instability. So it's basically the vertebrae in your neck don't move correctly, and you can't even catch it on MRI. So that was what was giving me kind of the dizziness and the headaches and everything. Doing a lot better because I found a doctor locally who treated me with those PRP injections, and then we actually flew down to Mexico and did stem cell treatment. So that got me to like 90–95%. It's a regenerative medicine, right? So it's kind of the only thing that can regrow tissue. Normal type of medicine isn't going to do it. A PRP injection would probably help stimulate healing, but then stem cells the only thing that can regrow tissue. Now I'm at the point where I can like lift weights and do rehab to get stronger, and hopefully I'll get back to 100. But for now, I'm decently happy with where it's at. Fighting for me is probably over, just based off the neck injuries and everything. But I'd like to potentially be managing fighters. I'd like to build the brand up to where it's worldwide, and I just want to stay in the fight world, basically. Yeah. I had probably 4 or 5 years of just not really figuring out what was wrong, and during that process, I kind of negotiated my own kind of settlement with the insurance company, basically because I didn't want to sue. And with that money, I launched it into techniques. So it was $30K, and I put the whole thing into inventory. So I had the idea in 2016, but you know, you have to find manufacturers, the right suppliers, all sorts of things. I ended up launching it 2 weeks right before COVID hit, so horrible timing. Honestly, like, I think in the first 6 months, I might have sold like 6 gloves, and I was sitting on like $30,000 worth of inventory, so horrible feeling. Lost my day job during that time as well, so. But honestly, it allowed me to shift, because my first idea was was to only sell to gyms at wholesale, and then it just made me think bigger, where I was like, no, this could be like an online type of business, and how do I build up my online presence? How do I learn SEO? How do I learn how to like design different things for online? So in a way, it helped me in the end. As an entrepreneur, every single day, you're questioning yourself, what am I doing? Am I taking the right steps? Because actually in the beginning, I would be like, I have this like massive idea of where I want to go, and I'd be thinking like 16 steps ahead, and I had to train myself to be like, what's the next 3 steps? And that's it, that's all I think about. And then, but you're always wondering, like, am I making the wrong choice here? Am I making the wrong choice there? And then you realize I made a wrong choice, and you can dwell on it, you can have it, you can let it beat you up, but you can't, like, you're gonna have these moments, but you just can't sink into them for too long. You just have to try to think positively and realize, like, it's not just about the top of the mountaintop, right? It's like the whole process. So sometimes I have to remember to just like, you know, I have a long way to go, but like look down and see where we came from. And where I came from was like a dark room where I couldn't turn the lights on, headaches every time a light came on, headaches every time I heard sound, and doctors not being able to like figure out what was wrong with me. So it's been a long way, I guess. Yeah, you know what? During the pandemic, Milton Muay Thai, Romel, I loved the hustle at the time. Everything was shut down. He started making pies and selling pies to cover rent. And the dude, I was like, I went and picked up some pies from him, and I swear to God, there was cars lined up, like he's selling it out of his condo. He was using 3 different people's ovens in his condo. And I just respected the hustle so much. I was buying a lot of pies from him. Also, the pies were really good. And then when the pandemic was, or not, when the lockdown ended, he like reciprocated and started buying a bunch of stuff from me. And that was the first gym that bought from me. And through his name value, he passed on to another gym, who passed on to another gym. So I would say that would be like kind of the break that I caught. Techniques and martial art, they just go together. It's self-expression through technical mastery. So that's what kind of happened for me, right? After my dad passed away, I needed something to express myself into, and that was martial arts. And I've met a lot of martial artists, and they have similar stories. And then for me, once I couldn't do martial arts anymore, the brand is kind of my outlet, and it allows other people to kind of use it for self-expression. I actually wanted to call it Don't Sweat the Technique, the whole brand, but and then I was like, I'll call the gloves Techniques and have like techniques 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then I was just like, techniques make so much more sense. And then when I thought about, I guess, my own experience, I just love like the technical aspect of martial arts or of Muay Thai. And that's the part that I would like really study. I'd sit in my room at night and just like go over the very simple movements and do them like 200, 300 times. So to me, martial arts is all about the technique. I want to talk about the two of my boys, Bobby Poulter and Surrey City. These guys are on the come up locally here. I think Surrey will probably be in the UFC soon, and Bobby's on the come up. But a guy we just signed is Adrian Yanez. So he ended actually on Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira card. He's right before the co-main event, right before Jorge Masvidal fights, and he's fighting Rob Font. If he wins this, he definitely breaks into the top 10, and I think he's definitely gonna be a champ. It was cool actually. Israel Adesanya recently in one of his interviews said he thought he was gonna be a champ too. So great minds think alike, I guess. I mean, I used to not like to say it out loud, but I want it to be the #1 MMA brand in the world, right? The first step's oftentimes the hardest. A lot of times we can just overthink things or doubt ourselves, but just being on the path and knowing the direction you want to be in and kind of trusting the path. If you understand where you want to be, you're going to figure out how to get there.